Hello, Head Start families. This is Miss Haley, Arcadia Head Start Center Manager and Family Services Specialist. Thank you for joining me tonight for this second parent meeting and our first conscious discipline training. I am going to share my screen with a PowerPoint and go from there. Okay, again, thank you everybody for being here or watching on YouTube. This is the Arcadia Head Start Parent Meeting and Conscious Discipline Training, and today is January 28th, 2011. As you can probably see, I do have Spanish subtitles on the bottom of the screen. So if you are a Spanish-speaking family, hopefully you are able to follow along with those subtitles. Okay, first of all, I want to talk to you about some of the things that your kids are doing in class. In Miss Jordan's 3-year-old classroom, they decided that this month they wanted to learn about exercise. So with that, they are discussing what is and isn't considered exercise, how exercise can be good for your body, different ways to exercise, and also Miss Jordan brought in exercise equipment for the student to interact with, things such as stretchy bands and very light weights and a yoga mat, just so that the kids can be introduced to those kind of materials. In Miss Kylie's 4K classroom, they picked their study for the month to be about clothing. So what they are learning is about their patterns in their clothing, if they are striped, polka dots, flowers. They are talking about what clothing you wear for different weather and why. Also, they are learning how to take care of their clothing and clean them. So things like, how do we wash our clothes? If we get a rip in our clothes, how can we fix it? So they're learning about that and focusing all of their other studies on either clothing or exercise. However, they're still doing so much more during the day than just that. I wanted to make sure to give everybody a reminder to send winter clothes for your children every single day. We will go outside as long as the temperature is above 0. So for winter clothing, what we ask you to send is boots, mittens or gloves, snow pants, jackets, hats or earmuffs, extra socks, because sometimes snow gets in the boots and then your socks get wet and nobody likes to wear wet socks. In terms of mittens and gloves, those items tend to go missing very often. So if you can somehow attach them to your child's clothes, whether that be with a string that goes all the way through and is attached to each mitten, or some other creative way you can come up with. Also, if you need any assistance buying these items for your child, please let me or your child's teacher know. We would be more than happy to provide any of these items for you. It's important to us that your kids do get to play outside, but that they're also warm. So we want to make sure that they have all of the clothing that they need. And finally, with the winter clothes, we ask that you please label everything that you send to school with your child's name. A lot of snow pants are just plain black snow pants, and multiple students have the same ones. So if for some reason they get misplaced or set in the wrong cubby, we may have no idea whose clothes they are. So it's important that you put your child's name on every item. Next, I want to talk about medical and dental requirements. As you all know, a dental exam and a well-child physical are required every year for your child to be in Head Start. However, we do understand that in this kind of crazy time that we're in with COVID-19, it can be harder to get those doctor appointments or dental appointments. However, I have heard from a couple of the dental clinics that we work with that they are accepting new patients right now. If you do need access to a dental clinic, please let me know and I can get you in contact with one. Finally, I want to thank everybody so much for turning in all of the in-kind. If you look over here, it's just this, my pointer out. This is what the form looks like. It'll be at the bottom of activities and things that we send home. So this is a way that we can just track what you're doing with your children at home, as well as while you're working with your child at home, every minute that you let us know you're working with them, we get money provided back to us to continue our program. We will send in-kind home almost weekly. Usually they are in the form of some type of activity for you to do at home with your child. We also send home a dental teeth brushing calendar that you can use for the month and then return at the end of the month. We have an activity calendar that we send home, and just many different options for you to showcase what you're doing with your child. We also always really, really appreciate any pictures or videos of the things that you're doing with your kids. So if you have a fun picture of an activity that you're working on, please send it to me in a text. So this Head Start, just a reminder to everybody, is a 2-year program. Most of our students start out in our 3K classroom, and then after that they move on to our 4K classroom. And then after they go through the 3K and 4K, that's when they'll move on to kindergarten with the district. However, this year, because we really felt that it was important to have lower class sizes to keep students and their families, and then my staff as well, safe, we decreased our class size numbers by almost half. So what that means is that we are going to need to enroll about 26 new students for next year. This is a lot higher of a number than we usually would need to enroll, because we would have 17 kids going from our 3-year-old room to our 4-year-old room. Now we only have 11 kids moving from our 3-year-old room to our 4-year-old room. So what we need from you is some help recruiting for Head Start. So where do you come in? We need help finding 3- and 4-year-olds who you think would benefit from attending Head Start. How you can do that is tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers. If there's a business that you go to often or you own and you would be willing to hang up a flyer, we would greatly appreciate that. We have flyers in Spanish and in English. And looking ahead to what's coming up with us at Head Start, the second set of parent-teacher conferences will be held in February. Keep an eye out for the sign-up sheet for those, because as always, the sooner you return this sheet, the more likely you are to get your first pick of date and time. We will not have school on February 18th. And spring break will be from March 29th to April 6th. And that is another time period where we will not have school. If you have any questions for me about Head Start, about your child, about what's happening in their classroom, please let me know. You can reach out to me on Class Dojo. You can send me a text. You can call me. Unfortunately, I am not fluent in Spanish. So for me, what works the best is if the Spanish-speaking families are able to text me, I am able to text back and forth in Spanish. However, if you do need to speak with me, I can absolutely arrange an interpreter to have that phone call with you. Okay, next we're going to move into the training part of our meeting. First, we're going to learn about setting up our safe place at home. And our 4-year-old teacher, Miss Kylie, recorded a safe space video that I will play for you just the beginning, and then you can go back and then watch that on your own time. I'm sorry, I don't know why there's no sound. Okay. And then I do have this video, sorry. I do have this video posted with subtitles. So if you are a Spanish-speaking family, please watch the second video, and that is how you'll be able to see what Miss Kylie is talking about. Whoops, I'm sorry. Okay, so that got a little bit skipped, a little bit frozen at the end, but hopefully you were able to understand what I was saying. And I am going to now move on to a next slide and just kind of quickly go over again what was said in the video. So the safe place is a place where children or adults can go when they need to actively calm themselves. So in our brain, we have an executive brain, an emotional brain, and a survival brain. Oops. Let me get my pointer out. Okay, so the first part of the brain is the survival state. This takes place in the brain stem, and this part of you're in this part of your brain, all that you're thinking about is, am I safe? As well as that's when this part of the brain is when you will hear about fight or flight responses. So that means that sometimes when people are angry or scared, their body almost reflexively, I'm sorry, I just noticed the subtitles were not. Okay, my apologies. So if they're in their survival state and something is scary or they're sad, they're either going to flight, which could mean running away and hiding, or really just shutting down, or possibly fight. And what fight would mean is maybe they yell things, maybe they scream and cry, and this is when they might hit or sometimes bite. What we want to do is we want to teach kids how to be in their executive state. So okay, so the executive state is in the prefrontal lobe here. And what the executive state says is, what can I learn from this? So that's really the highest state of the brain. And that's usually when you're calm and you can make decisions. That would be, you would be in the executive state of your brain. So the safe place is not a timeout. It is a place for your children to go to learn how to calm their body, how to regulate themselves. The safe place changes as you grow. At first, the safe place for a little infant would be just you on your chest. Being on your chest with their parent is how they know that they're safe and they can calm themselves. You may have your child on your chest and take a deep breath and transfer that calm to them. From there, the safe place can change to being on the adult's lap. So if they're having a hard time and they want to come sit on your lap, that can be an area where you are giving your calm to them. It is our job as adults to model and teach the skill. So if you are in your survival state because something is just really upsetting you and you're angry or you're frustrated, your child is going to see that and they may have those same type of reactions or other adverse reactions. So it's important that when you are frustrated or stressed or your child is frustrated, you stop, take a deep breath, and what we call that is downloading your calm. So you want to breathe deeply, calm yourself, because you need to be calm to be able to teach your children how to be calm. Okay. Planning the safe place in your home. Think about the place in your house that your child usually goes to when they are feeling sad or angry or frustrated. That place is almost already what your child is using as their safe place. It's just not set up with all of the tools that we would have in our safe place at school. So the location that you pick for your safe place in your home should be a place that is big enough for the child and grown-up to sit together comfortably. You want to add items like pillows, blankets, maybe a beanbag chair, stuffed animals, just things that are soft and cozy. Some kids, when they are feeling big emotions, they want to hide. So having a blanket is good because they can just cover themselves with that blanket and feel like they are in their own safe, hidden place. You want to add items to your safe place that are calming, such as a family photo, stuffed animal, maybe some books or paper and things to color with, as well as a breathing book like Miss Kylie showed you. Our teacher assistants are creating breathing books for you to use at home so that when you plan your safe place in your home, you can put that breathing book in there. And your kids can probably teach you how to use those different breathing methods because we go over them in class all the time. And then finally, another thing that Miss Kylie pointed out that is really important is that you need to practice using your safe place with your child when they're in their executive brain. So when they're calm and they're able to take in new information and listen to you, you want to practice using your safe place, because when they are upset and scared and frustrated and crying, they're not thinking about how to use their safe place. They're just wondering if they're safe. So if they have those tools already in them that you've already taught them when they were calm, they're better able to pull those. Okay, so that is all that I have for the safe place training. Um, Unfortunately, it's not as ideal that we are presenting this virtually instead of in person. If we were in person, you would be able to see the safe places in your child's classroom and look at all the things that are there. They could tell you what things they like and what they use. Um, but if you do have any questions about setting up your safe place, how to set it up, or what to put in it, how to use it, please reach out to your child's teacher or myself, and they will be more than willing to offer you some help. Okay. Next, we are going to go into our last conscious discipline training. Okay, so we wish well to help ourselves and others. I wish you well is a powerful healing activity. I want you to take a minute and think about the last time your child had a meltdown. Did you know what to do in that moment? And were the actions that you took to help your child helpful? Sometimes when your child is having a meltdown, it feels like you have no idea what to do, and it's easy to just throw your hands up and say, nothing I have is working. Because it can be difficult to know what to do during those moments. Okay, we are going back to the brain state that I talked about in the previous safe place training. It helps us understand why children react the way they do and why adults act the way they do based on what brain state they are in. So again, we have the survival state, which is right here at the brainstem. It's in this state, you're not thinking, you may be screaming, running, you're internally wondering, am I safe? And you're trying to figure out what to do. And this is a state where if you're in it because your child is having a meltdown, you also might want to go, and just pull your hair out, and nothing is seeming to work, and you're very emotional and upset about what's going on. In the emotional state, which is right here, it's blue area, you understand that things are changing. I feel crazy. You may be nervous. So these are more of the feelings and thoughts and emotions that you're having. Survival state is back to the very, very fight or flight, primal. You want to run somewhere to get safe, or you're physically doing something to make yourself safe and feel better. And then finally, we have the executive state. In this state, this is where children are actually able to learn. They are calm and they feel safe. And this is where we want to teach all children to get to. When the survival or the emotional state are triggered, we are only able to access a very limited amount or a limited set of skills. So we might yell, hit, sass, grab, threaten, or hurt someone. in order to problem solve and come up with helpful solutions, we need to be able to access our executive state. The way to do that is by using something we call active calming. And the way to actively calm is to take at least 3 deep belly breaths. So you want to make sure you can maybe put your hands right where your diaphragm muscle is. So that's kind of right on your stomach. You want to breathe in deeply. And then breathe out. When you breathe in, you should feel your bellies rising and filling up with air. And then when you breathe out, your stomach will lower and you'll feel that air coming out. Well, after we do the 3 breaths, it's important to reassure ourselves by saying, I'm safe, I can handle this, and keep breathing. And then finally, you wish well. What is wishing well? So wishing well is a powerful thing to do when you feel helpless and you just don't know what else to do. Wishing well is opening our hearts and seeing the preciousness of others. What you do is, like we said before, take a deep breath, close your eyes gently, and picture something calm and precious like the sun rising, a newborn grasping your finger, maybe a little puppy taking a puppy nap. And then you take those peaceful, calm feelings that you feel and you send them out into the world around you. That is wishing well. This helps to calm our brains and our bodies so that we can share our wisdom and compassion. It helps us view the other person, ourselves, and the situation in a more helpful, positive light. And it also helps us to understand the other person's experience so that we can respond in a helpful way. Okay, so we're going to think back to that time that your child had a meltdown again. If you put yourself in that position, wishing well will help us calm ourselves so that we can become more understanding of where the child is coming from and we're better able to help. Offering effective assistance requires us to wish well, breathe, and then reassure your child that he or she is safe until they recover enough for us to help in other ways. So when they're having that meltdown and they're in their survival state, like I said, they're not taking in new information. They just really need to be held or supported in some way until their bodies are able to calm down. Wishing well is easier in some situations and with some people than others. So it tends to be easy to wish well to the people that we love or our children when we know that they're upset. However, it can be harder to wish people well if we don't like them or when our children's behavior is bothersome to us and we don't understand why they're upset. I like to use the example of wishing somebody well when they cut you off while you're driving. So you're driving down the road and trying to get to work and somebody is tailgating you and all of a sudden they zoom around you and cut you off in front of you. I know for myself, it's very easy for me to just get very frustrated and mad at that person for putting my safety and whoever is in my car in jeopardy. but that anger and frustration in myself is not helping me to do anything. So instead, what we do is we take a deep breath and we wish that person who cut us off well. We don't know what they're going through. We don't know if they are rushing to the hospital to see a sick parent. It just clears our brain and gives us more understanding of other people. So like I said, even though it can be more difficult in some situations and easier in some situations, it is something that you should use all the time, even in hopelessness or helplessness. Some examples of the way we wish well in our classrooms, or what you could do at home as well. We have this is a pizza pan that you could buy at the dollar store. And then a heart is taped on. And in the classroom, we have pictures of all of the school children. And when one of them, or when a classmate is out for the day, the students take the picture of them and move it into the heart, and then they say, "We wish you well." So they're wishing well their friends that are at home because they're sick or they're at a doctor's appointment. This is just increasing the empathy, that you're teaching the empathy for students when they're gone, and putting those kind thoughts into yourself. This is my subtitles. Okay, we're going to play the video and then I will describe what it is saying. Okay. Okay, so what you saw in that video was one of our Head Start teachers from Eau Claire doing her morning meeting. And at her morning meeting, she asks the students how many children they usually have in their class, which is 10, and how many are here today. There were only 9 there today, so that meant that one was missing. Maybe they were at home sick, or maybe they had an appointment. So we ask the children to see who it is that is missing, and then they find their picture and they put it on their wish well wall, which was the wall with the hearts that you saw. And they sing a little song, because songs work great for preschoolers to remember. They put their hand on their heart and one on their stomach. They take a deep breath. And then they sing, "We wish you well, we wish you well, all through the day today, we wish you well." And then they say, we wish you well, and then the child's name. So if this was a project that was in person, we would be doing a craft project right now. They would be our super galactic rocket ships that zoom our well wishes and love to the people that we miss. So I will send some of these home for you to do with your children. But what we will send home is a picture of a rocket. This is mine. It will be not colored and not have any people on it, so that your children are able to color it however they would like. And then we're also sending home some foam heads. These are supposed to be just faces, heads cut out. And then for mine, I put a picture of Miss Stephanie, a picture of Miss Marissa, and a picture of Miss Kylie on here. You could have pictures of grandparents, uncles, friends, anyone that your child may be missing. These ones are glued on, but the ones that you receive will have Velcro, so your child will be able to take off the person who they're missing, or go find the person that they're missing and then put them on, and then you say, "We wish you well, Miss Stephanie," or the name of the person that you put on. Okay, so your child will decorate and color their rocket, and then stick the 3 pieces of Velcro onto the rocket windows. Then you can either glue pictures onto the foam, you can draw a picture, you could write initials or a name on them. And then finally, you can come up with your own wish well song that you sing every day, or you can use the conscious discipline one. So you want the children to take the heads that they're going to put on their rocket, hold them close to their heart, or maybe they want to give them a kiss, and then sing your wish well song. We wish you well, we wish you well, all through the day today, we wish you well. Stick them on the rocket, and then the rocket can zoom all of those well wishes and love off to whoever it is that you are missing. Finally, just like with the safe place, practice is important. All of these need practice. We need kids thrive with repetition. So as an example, if you were to pick grandma to wish well, you would find a picture of grandma, maybe cut her face out and put it on the felt or the foam head that we'll be sending home. Look at the picture, place it on your heart, take a deep breath and say, "I wish you well, grandma," or sing the wish you well song. Then you will put the picture on your rocket and shoot it off. Just for pretend. We can wish well to anybody that we're thinking of, missing, or we worry about. And if you don't have a picture, like we said, you can definitely just draw the person's face on it or put initials, somehow use your imagination. If you go onto YouTube, there are many videos. If you just Google or search "Wish You Well, Conscious Discipline" on YouTube, you can find some songs and examples of what other people have done in their classrooms to wish well. Sorry about that. And that is all that I have for you. I really appreciate you watching this video. I wish that we could be doing it in person. Hopefully next year we'll be able to actually see each other and be together and do our make and takes together. But for right now, I hope that this was okay for you. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that I talked about today, please feel free to reach out and ask me or your child's teacher. Thank you. Bye.